cookie caper. Once upon a time, in the cozy little town of Sugarville, there lived a cookie-loving cat named Whiskers. Whiskers was known far and wide for his insatiable appetite for cookies of all shapes and sizes. His owner, Mrs. Thompson, couldn't keep her cookies safe no matter how high she hid them in the kitchen cabinets. One sunny afternoon, Mrs. Thompson decided to bake a fresh batch of her famous chocolate chip cookies. She was determined to outsmart Whiskers and keep her cookies out of his sneaky paws. With a twinkle in her eye, she hatched a plan. First, she mixed the dough, carefully added the chocolate chips, and shaped the cookies into perfect little rounds. Then she opened her secret spice cabinet and added a pinch of Whisker Be Gone spice, which she had picked up from the mysterious spice merchant in the town square. Once the cookies were baked to perfection, Mrs. Thompson set them on the windowsill to cool. She knew that the tantalizing aroma would soon waft through the house, attracting Whiskers like a moth to a flame. But this time, Mrs. Thompson had a trick up her sleeve. As Whiskers sauntered into the kitchen, he couldn't resist the mouth-watering scent of the cookies. He made a daring leap to the windowsill, but stopped short when he caught a whiff of the Whisker Be Gone spice. It was as if 1,000 cat-sized water balloons had gone off in his face. Whiskers sneezed and coughed, his eyes watering as he recoiled in surprise. Mrs. Thompson watched with a smirk as Whiskers fled the scene, bewildered by the cookie's unusual scent. She knew she had successfully outsmarted her cookie-thieving cat. Unbeknownst to Whiskers, Mrs. Thompson's plan didn't end there. She decided to have some fun at her mischievous feline's expense. She put on a voice recorder and played a recording of a ghostly meow from behind the cookie jar. Whiskers, convinced that the kitchen was haunted by the ghost of a cookie-loving cat, arched his back and bolted out of the room, leaving behind a trail of cookie crumbs. Mrs. Thompson couldn't contain her laughter as she listened to Whiskers' comical reaction. She couldn't remember the last time she had so much fun baking cookies. From that day on, Whiskers kept a wide berth from Mrs. Thompson's cookies, convinced they were possessed. Mrs. Thompson, on the other hand, continued to bake her delicious cookies with the secret Whisker Be Gone spice, enjoying her newfound peace in the kitchen.